Hello, I'm NBG and welcome to the video. I want to make today's video pretty quick. I've been talking to a whole bunch of different people ranging from not knowing how to make gold whatsoever up to people who make a hell of a lot more than me even. And there's been a lot of great conversations both in Discord and especially over the comment section in YouTube. I've loved it. I've loved hearing people's different thoughts. We've already talked about that. It's awesome. I love the engagement. That's the whole idea. Anyway, today's video is going to be aimed at you people who want to make some profit and you want to make it via crafting. You don't want to go out and mine an herb all day. You don't want to go out and scan or do browsing farms or, you know, skinning farms, any of that kind of stuff. Like, you just don't want to do that. You want to make some gold via crafting because you think the system's cool and you just don't know where to start. You're looking for some easy to get going crafts. That's the key. Some easy to get going crafts that after this video, you can go out and start up that tune and get to it, in the course of an hour or two and be good to go. I'm going to show you how to do that here. I have just a few ways to make some easy profits on the auction house. Let's get started. Option number one, you probably guessed it because I've talked about it in numerous videos before, but I'm still going to stick by it because it's been making a lot of gold for me. And that's the Crimson Combatant gear. The good news is this kind of goes for, three different professions: leatherworking, tailoring, and blacksmithing. You could all do it. So don't feel bad that if you're not a leatherworker. I like leatherworking because it's mail and leather, so instead of making one set, I essentially get to make two. However, take a look here. If anybody is using the Craft Sim add-on that I suggested in my most recent video, I'm still sticking to it. It's really, really helpful, especially for something like this, where you're making it straight up and it's looking and saying, hey, yo, making this one specifically is negative 300 gold profit. So like today, I wouldn't make that. Today, this one right now, if I were to make this and post it, it's 1400 profit. Keep in mind, like, today the numbers on my server, the Crimson Combatant and stuff like that, are really down to where there's a lot of negative profit or no profit. But there's still things, it's still worth doing. Like this one here, it just means I'm not going to craft it right now. I'll check back in again later, and if it's profitable later, I'll make it. If it's not, I won't. It's pretty simple. But just to show you, there's profit there, there's 13, there's 13, there's 1900, there's 2700, there's 800, 1000, 900, and then you have, one negative, one that's like nothing. See, most of it is profitable, and you might be like, man, that's only 1000 gold profit. Well, think about doing every single one of these at somewhere averaging 1000, plus you had blacksmithing, plus you had tailoring. You did it once or twice a day. I don't just sit here and cancel scan these. I post them, go do my crap. When I'm about ready to get up to go get lunch or do, whatever, after I get home from work, whatever the case may be, I just get on. I do a quick cancel scan. I take down anything, that's been undercut. I recraft anything that's sold and I put it back up, and over the course of the day, I net sales, and if everything goes correctly, I should be netting small profits. Now, those small profits really do add up. As seen here, the profits really do add up. Since the start of the expansion, I've sold over 3,264,000 gold worth of it. That's a lot. Not all of that is profit, mind you. The profits are really low now. They were really big at the beginning. You see some stuff sold here for like 3 gold. That's because on an actual character, I got some honor gear finally, and I scrapped what I didn't need anymore. But as you can see here, like, they sell. I've sold 590 Crimson Combatant, and keep in mind that this is a good amount of gold, and I have almost exclusively done just mail and leather because at the time I've started doing the tailoring stuff, and I don't have a blacksmith still somehow. So that's gold made just from 2 of them, let alone if I was doing all 4 of them. It's just something that you need to look at, especially if you're using Craft Sim, or look at your own auction house and look to see if there's profits there. If there are profits there and you're not doing it, then that's on you, because as you see, this has made me a lot of easy gold throughout the expansion, and I don't have to sit on the auction house all day. Now, I said I would show specs. This essentially works for tailoring and blacksmithing and stuff as well. The recipes for the Crimson Combatant are, you see the recipe difficulty for 5 stars, only 120. That is like nothing. I mean, you can see I have 80 just from leatherworking, and then plus 18 from a couple pieces of equipment. If I, swap that out, I really have a little bit more. Plus 20, I have 122 just coming from that kind of stuff. What I'm really talking about is it doesn't take very much skill, only 120. So the combination of leveling the profession, maybe 1 or 2 pieces of equipment, even if you only had the green, having plus 6 here, plus this here, and then you stick 30 nodes into general skill that applies for everything for leatherworking, and you're pretty much going to be there. It doesn't take much, and this is the same for leatherworking, it's the same for tailoring, and it's the same for blacksmithing. Here is option number 2, which I don't think I've talked to everybody about before, but this has net me a small amount of gold, like, every day since I've been doing it. And that's going to be the Zap Throttle. The Zap Throttle Inhaler. As you can see right now, I have one for like 15k that's up here. If we go ahead and open up engineering, because this is an engineering pattern, you can see based on the 2 craft, it's telling me that it's about 4,670 gold to craft. And right now I'm selling them for 15k. That's nearly a 10k gold profit after like auction house cuts and whatnot. And the cool news about the Zap Throttle is it's also very server specific, right? It could be good on your server, it could be crap. A buddy of mine has sold these at 75k, like literally selling them between like 25 and 75k consistently. Me, I've sold 26 of these since I've done this, I guess. At the lowest was 8k. Keep that in mind, that's still profit, all the way up to about 25k for me. And again, I don't sit here and just sit on the auction house all day. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if I need to take mine down. I make it, I post it, I go about my life. Super, super simple, it's easy. It's, again, sold 28 of them already. I only started doing it like maybe a week and a half ago, something like that. It just nets me about 10k a day, if not more. Some days I sell 2 or 3 of them, and I just check back. Sometimes I'll be switching characters, and I'll notice this character has mail, and I go, oh, my Zap Throttle sold. I get on, grab it, make another one. Almost all the gold this character has been made just from selling Zap Throttles here and there. Now to show you guys the spec. This one is incredibly easy to get to in engineering. And this one, all it is what's scrapper, right? Yep. So you gotta stick 5 points into optimized efficiency and then 20 points into scrapper. That is incredible. You're gonna have almost that many points just leveling the profession. And then if you just go out and get a few world items, boom, you're making this. Easy. Easy to be able to make this. If all you wanted to do is make this, you got to think about, well, what is going to net you extra gold from making this? Honestly, it's probably only resourcefulness is about the only thing that is going to matter. Just because if you can somehow save an arc light or save a reinforced machine chassis, that's going to save you some decent gold. But you don't really need to do anything. You don't need inspiration. You don't need anything. Even if you don't have resourcefulness, at least for me, it's still incredibly easy gold. But that's one thing you could technically spec into. I don't know if I would do that, but you could technically spec resourcefulness because you don't need a level or anything. You need nothing. You just need to be able to make it. And for me, I make them, I post them, they make gold. It's brain dead easy. You could be making, 10 plus K a day. And I really do mean plus, because some days I sell 3 or 4 because I notice they sell, so I make more. Other days I sell 1. It just kind of depends on how much I care about keeping up with it. Luckily, people don't undercut like crazy on the Zap Throttle. And even if they do, I don't care. It's kind of just a secondary gold method, right? It just makes small amounts for me. So, I kind of set it and forget it. Log on the next day, check my auctions, come on here, cancel it if I need to, repost it, and then go about doing my business. So really, really easy gold. Check out the Zap Throttle Soul Inhaler on your auction house and see if it's worth having an engineer to craft one for you every day. So here is option number 3 and 4, I would say. This one's a little bit harder to get going, but you too could also just get it going within like 2 hours. And I highly suggest it if you just want something that's going to net you gold like once a week essentially, and a pretty substantial amount. And to show the substantial amount, I'm actually going to do it now because I noticed that I apparently have 30 I can make. And you all probably know what this one is as well, but this one's going to be the Azure Weave. Now, take a look here. First of all, it says I have 30 crafts available. I don't know if that's true, but I have the materials on me to do so. My spec is a little jank, meaning I actually can't hit T3 if I use 3 of the tier 2, which saves a lot of gold. I actually have to use 2 tier 3 right now, which makes it cost a little bit more. And you can see by Simcraft that profit by quality, on average for the T2s I'm negative slight gold, but on the average when I do Inspire proc, which I have fairly high inspiration, I'm behind. With fairly high inspiration, you know, I'm netting 4,200 gold profit. It's extremely profitable, and I'm going to show you how. And again, this is a janked setup. I will show you what I would do differently and how you can net even more profit from something like this. Let's go into the spec. The spec, let me tell you, before I really show you well, actually, let's talk about what I did. I initially rushed Azure Weaving to get these 2 nodes to get the cooldown back faster. That has essentially been broke for like the vast majority of the expansion. Maybe it's working now, maybe that's why I can make 30 of these, but the idea is I wanted to be able to make these more often. If I were starting a new toon, I would not, like a new crafter, I would not rush this to the max like I did on this character, because I did this day 1 of the expansion. What I would do instead, and again, this character doesn't have it, right? Like this is not correct. I have too many points here. I think I needed it for the skill in order to make it proc it. But anyway, I would rush in Tailoring Mastery. You put, what is it? I think you just have to unlock the node. No, you have to get 10 points in. 10 points in, and then you need to unlock Shrewd Stitchery, which is Inspiration Crafting. And you really want to max this because it's going to mean once this is maxed, you're going to need a less skill to be able to proc tier 3. You need, with the Azure Weave, it's a very high skill cap, so you're not going to be making these straight up tier 3. You need inspiration, which means you're more than likely going to be using an inspiration tool with an inspiration enchant. You're more than likely going to need inspiration any way you can get it. Again, I'm not maxed on inspiration, so I definitely have more I could get. So you see for me, I'm at 226, right? 226 skill plus my inspiration proc of 163. That only comes up to, what, 380 something or other? And that's because I need to get additional skill. That's why I need to use 2 tier 3s, would make it 262 plus 163, which is enough to then proc my tier 3. So if you notice for me right now, if I do that, it's exact. It's exact to proc via inspiration. I believe 262 was 163 is exactly 225. I can proc tier 3s perfectly. And that's essentially what you want to set up. You only need so much skill. I have enough skill that I can now use 1 tier 2. Again, when I get next week, I'll easily be able to do this, and I'll be able to do it with tier 2s. If I was able to proc on tier 2s, I would technically be saving, making a slight amount of gold even on my tier 2s, and then tier 3s would just be even more. How can you make this better than the way I have it? Pretty simple. So your first goal is to unlock Shrewd Stitchery, max it to inspiration. Boom. Okay, that's done. First goal done. What's second? Second, all you want to be able to do is unlock the Azure Weave Bolt or Chrono Bolt, right? We're going to talk about that. Let's say you unlock the Azure Weave Bolt. What is your next goal? Your next goal is to just get enough skill to where Azure Bolt is, you hit rank 2, right? You want this bar, you want it to be rank 2 to rank 3. That's your next goal. And then once you hit rank 2, you're like, aha, I can make them straight up at rank 2. Then you just need to look at your skill and inspiration and see that if you were to proc, would you get a tier 3? If you're 5 skills short, then you need to come up with 5 skills somewhere. That could be more points here. That could be more general points into the general tree. That could be better tools. Whatever you need to do, you need to come up with skill at that point. So again, max inspiration, unlock the bolt, focus on skill until they both meet up. Once you can craft them at max tier, you're essentially good to go. I'm hoping this is a log on once a week craft make profit, and I'm going to show you my crafts here as long as I can make 30. I will go over how much gold I spent to do it, and I will go over what our profits are. So quickly, I look and it cost me 81,200 gold to craft all 30 of these. I'm now going to craft all 30 of these, head back to the auction house, and let you know what our profits are. Notice those nice inspiration procs right away. Notice a little bit of resourcefulness saving a awakened order, which is obviously the best thing you could save with the craft. So the way the craft sim works is it's looking at bunches and bunches, right? I don't even know what number it uses. Maybe it uses 100,000. It looks at a total giant number of crafts, and it's saying per craft, this is about the average profit that you're going to have. Obviously, my T2s are losing me gold. However, resourcefulness gets added in there. Multi-craft can happen. Inspires are obviously a lot more gold. It looks like we're getting lucky with the amount of inspires we have. And honestly, I should have waited to do this, because if I look up here, I have a bunch of skill points that apparently I haven't gotten on this. Again, huge mistake. I could have made more gold. I can get more of these enchanting points in here. I could push my inspiration a little bit harder. My point is, this is not done well, right? I could be much better on this setup and be making even more gold, which means you guys can do it too relatively easily. From the 30, looks like we never had a multi-craft, but this looks fairly lucky. I had 18 tier 2s and 12 tier 3s. Let's go see how much gold we made. Okay, we're back at the auction house. Let's put these 18 up here. 18 of these at 53,854. 53,854. All right, I'm just gonna post because it's, yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that. And here's 12 of these for 89.9. So let's just say 90,000 because it's like less than a gold off. And then these at 90k for easy numbers. So what does that equal? That's 143,854, right? So for me, 80,000 to craft, 143,000 total, which means, because I don't feel like doing the math in my head, 143,854 minus the 81,210 to craft, that is 62,644 gold profit. And this is like a once a week thing, right? Boom. I wait all week. Oh, look, I can craft all 30. I buy the crap. I run out there. I craft it. I sell it. I make gold. Once a week setup. You should all be doing this too. It is quite easy. I'm just going to post these. I'll worry about cancel scanning or looking at them later. I don't care right now. But again, I would rush inspiration first, then get whatever one you want unlocked, then focus on skill after that. What could you do after this? What about 2 months from now? What could I do for even more gold? Well, in this particular craft, if these work and you can get your cooldown back faster, then these are probably worth rushing. Like, let's say if you need skill for Azure Weave, like maybe I would focus here first just to get this up and going, or at least unlock this first node, which I think, yeah, I think you have to get all the way up to the top here, which is why I did it. However, how can you guarantee making some profits? Pretty easy. One, technically, resourcefulness helps, right? Like if I did save one awakened order there. I mean, really, that's another 2,200 gold I didn't account for. That pushes this even higher. If you can save a few awakened orders, like that tends to add up. So technically resourcefulness happens, but that's not what I would do. I have another character that I'm going to show you that's a little bit different, because I had a different idea for making gold that didn't work out, but it kind of helps out for this, and that's because I went weaving in textiles. If you have weaving, this is for making bolts, which those Azure Weaves are. So you have a bunch of multi-craft here, for weaving into bolts plus skill for weaving into bolts. So honestly, what I would probably do is unlock inspiration first, then unlock your Azurweave bolts, and then as long as you get up to 75, you can then come into here, go textiles, unlock the sub, and then rush the multicraft. Multicraft makes a pretty big difference, especially when you're making bolts worth like, 8, 10k or however much they are. Being able to multicraft like 3 tier 3s or something is a lot of gold. Let me move characters and show you that now. So here is my second tailor, because I have 3 of them. This one actually has 30 points wasted because I went spinning because I was trying to do like the frozen cloth shuffle to make some gold, which sometimes is profitable, sometimes it's not. When I did it, it was highly profitable for some gold, but now it's kind of wasted of 30 points. So here's 30 points that's essentially wasted for the most part. I actually don't know if this skill technically helps. It might help for making bolts. I'm not entirely sure on that, to be honest. However, I believe I'd rather have these 30 points elsewhere. So to me, they're wasted. So the other big thing this character did was rushing weaving. So boom, boom, I rushed weaving. I got weaving, maxed. And then all I did is unlock Chrono Cloth. And then I think I have another 5 points here because there's some multi-craft there. And eventually I will also come deeper into here and pick up even more multi-craft because it's highly helpful. And then if you look at my main tree, I'm also only 15 out of 30 on the inspiration, and I somehow have 16 points here on accident, but I'm only 15 points here. So you're like, wow, here's a big mess up, there's a mess up, this isn't maxed. But if you look, this character has 8 out of 20 available. This character still can make gold through doing this. Not insane, but like at the 2 craft, like the amount that it tells me that I could do, it's still netting profit. Not as much. This character needs a little bit more work, but as I put more work, I start just netting more and more profit. The point is, super easy. This one's at like 83, has 1 blue tool. It's using a multi-craft inspiration. If you see, I do believe, with 163, I do believe when I have all the materials that this is tier 2, and I can proc tier 3. I'm almost 100% sure because I've made these at tier 3 before. So, yeah, so these can be made tier 3, I believe, on this character. Maybe not. Maybe it's the other character that can. Either way, this character looks like I need to get some stuff done on it today. 1, picking up more inspiration. More inspiration makes it much easier to have the skill required. And then after that, because of the multi-craft, you can see that the Chrono Bolt, like, it's a whopping 18% chance to multi-craft right now. That's pretty big. That's where this really can start making some gold, is if you can get yourself to the point of not needing a double inspiration tool, especially if you had like multi-craft resourcefulness, or in this case I'm using multi-craft inspiration. Once you get to that point, that's when you can really start making gold. And then it's a matter of, how can I get more multi-craft? How can I get, a little bit more resourcefulness, so on and so forth, to net out more profits. But my point is, this one's jank too. This one's doing chrono bolts. This one still makes profits. With that, that'll conclude today's video. Sorry about a little bit of rambling there about the Azurweave and Chrono Weave. I'm trying to get better at that. But there you go. There's 3 things that you can work on, covering multiple different professions. To go over them again, the Zap Throttle on an engineer. I'm just printing gold every day with that, small amounts, but they all add up. The combatant gear has been making me gold since the moment they came out. Even now, I still craft it all every single day, and it's constantly making me small profits. It all adds up. And then the Azurweave and Chrono Weave I'm approaching them kind of like a weekly craft to make some gold. And honestly, there's a couple more options that I have that I can share with you, but I don't want to give you 10 options in one video. I'll make this one and then give it a little bit of time, and then I'll make you guys another video with a couple more options from a couple other professions that make small, fairly guaranteed profits. So with that, I would like to thank you all for watching. We are getting incredibly close to 1,000 subs. I want to thank everybody for their support. Last time I checked, I think we're at like 965. Like, we're getting real close. So, yeah, thank you. Let's hit 1,000 and then let's keep the ball rolling. So, with that, I will get back to you hopefully very shortly this week. I still have 1 week left of vacation, so I should be around a little bit more often. I have big plans currently in my head for Tuesday, as I should be able to craft something new that I haven't shared with you guys, and I think it's going to be hopefully pretty big profits like the fangs were. And if it is, then I'll be sure to make a video about that and share that with you guys as well. Other than that, the upcoming Saturday, I know today's Monday, so you have almost all week, but I do stream on YouTube every Saturday, 7 a.m. Pacific till about noon-ish my time, and I look forward to chatting with you all there. So again, thank you for getting me almost to 1,000. I'm sure we'll probably be there in the next day or two, and I will see you guys in the next video.